put 2 rocks in a plastic bag to make some dumbbells. I put 2 sawhorses together at shoulder width to do some dips. I do push-ups in the pike position to work my upper pecs. I have a Wheel of Fortune made out of a wagon wheel from 1990. You know the Wheel of Fortune, right? That's where you roll out. I wrote these on a piece of vellum. I have written here, exploded view with bill of materials. Oh yeah. I'm not going to train with you guys today. I have to pick it up again tomorrow. Getting close. So the next episode of the podcast is about gender, right? It's actually the principle of gender, right? Because it's another polar relationship, male and female, right? One can't exist without the other. But there's something interesting about this particular principle, and that's that there is a temporal aspect to it. Meaning that if anything was first, it's the female. And I got confirmation on this. This is what I've been, feeling and intuiting and doing, visualization, experimentation in my mind, where you attempt, how space is defined, right? Like the polar relationship of thing and no thing, right? Those two require each other to exist, right? But nothing comes first, right? Thing doesn't come first. A thing is only defined as if it is located somewhere, right? And you can't locate a thing in the void or in space without a third element, right? Triangulation. This is just like, it's like the logistics, or it's the way that reference is created, right? A reference point. Like, so if there's just one thing in space, there's no way to tell where it is. You need one more thing, right? And that's consciousness. So it's almost like you don't even have to do science. The science is in your head. But with respect to the principle of gender and what comes first, right? So I talk about the origin, right, a lot, right? And the ever-present origin is always in our minds, or awareness is ever-present origin. But the thing is about gender and thing and no thing, right? They're the same in a way, right? The void is the womb of everything, right? And so that's the female aspect. Female comes first, and that's what I want to talk about with some. I've invited a few people on the show, and it looks like I'm going to get a booking here pretty soon in the next week or so. But remember, that's greennight.green, green, K-N-I-G-H-T, like Knights of the Round Table. Yeah, so there's thing requires nothing in order to be identified, right? And you can't even identify a thing without an awareness, an observer, right? And that's the triangulation. So if there was an origin, right? If there was a beginning, right, to all of this, and it seems as if there is, despite it being an unfathomable occurrence, because what has transpired since the origin basically is all things in all time, right, existing at once. But still, there was a beginning. And the feminine comes first, right? Feminine comes first. And that's identifiable just in the fact that all males are female first, right? So the feminine aspect is the womb of the world, right? And so that's why it's important. That's why they are important. That's why gender is important. It's part of the way the universe works, and what we attach to it as humans, right, is like all of this stuff that goes onto it that is like we as thinking beings, right, apply all of this human sensibilities to things, and really in their true nature, without considering the word, because the word is not the thing, right? The map is not the territory. It just is, right? So don't attach anything to it, right? In order to talk about gender, you have to let go of all this bullshit that's attached to it, or especially in the current environment. And that's what I say repeatedly over and over. That's the message of the Tao. That's the message of the Hermetic principles, and that's Krishnamurti's message. And that's general semantics. All of the greatest philosophers. That's ever-present origin, right? All say let go of naming things and measuring things. Because when you do, you attach all of that bullshit that comes along with. So yeah, next episode on greennight.green is about gender. But I'm not going to train today. But if you're new, right, then this is all about trying to develop the YouTube channel, where at some point we will come together, right, and train together in the Qigong method. And what the Qigong does is what I was just describing, is it trains you to let go of the inner conflict, right, by identifying the body as the bridge. It's not you, it's just the bridge to you, to the transcendental, right? The body is the bridge to the unseen And when you train in that fashion, you go inside. Like Eckhart Tolle always suggests, he's like, when you have this inner turmoil, go inside, right? Just focus on a portion of the inner body. And so Qigong is that times 1,000. And you get, you come face to face, right, with yourself. I and I and I, right? Like the Rastas say, right? But there is none of that, right? Krishnamurti says, right, and I kind of, you can see if you watch my other videos, right, you can see this is not me being, saying something that I think I know, right? This is me making my own journey, right? And I want to hold your hand and walk with you, or will you come with me? I'm looking back with my hand out. I'm, I don't claim to have discovered anything, but I've done a lot of inner exploration. But the Krishnamurti says is when you can observe without the observer, that's when you are completely and wholly aware, right? Wholly perception, right? And that's when your body performs at its optimum, right? And that's when your psychological sense of self is not there. And that's a flow state, right? All of these buzzwords. It's not the word is not the thing, right? But when you're at your best, you'll notice that peculiarly you are performing at your optimum, but your sense of self is absent. So you are an individual and all things at once. So, right, this is the lesson of the Tao. This is the teachings of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, which is why I called the podcast that. This is not Sir, but it sounds like he could be a Sir, but Walter Russell, the residing on the fulcrum, right? Instead of swinging back and forth on the pendulum, you get on the fulcrum, and you are, your awareness is most keen at that point, right? So all of these great teachers are saying the same thing. And this is what is required, right? This is the urgency, right? There's nothing to be done, right? We are perfect already. And if you claim there's something to be done, then you create conflict. And that's the tricky part, right? There's this Zeno's paradox in all things. And so you have to look without looking, right? You have to channel your inner Kung Fu master. And that's the Qigong. That's what it allows you to approach, right? And it's always an approach. It's always an approach. It's never an arrival. So, if you go back and listen to my other stuff on the YouTube channel, Birch Driver, right? Search for it with quotes. Then you'll see, right? This is a journey. I'm not claiming anything. I'm not, except for that this fucking works, right? This works. But the objective will become clear, right? It's to be, right? To be the effect that creates the cause. Not cause the effect you wish to see, right? You just be the effect, right? And if we all do it together, I just said if, right? And that's like the if-then statement. And so that's why it's so difficult actually to talk about. Because it's not an if, this, then that thing, right? It's a that, then, this, if, right? It's retrocausality. We create what was already here, what was always meant to be, the ever-present origin. That's the objective of this, the acausal intent of what I'm doing and some other people are doing. But yeah, it's being, being. So I just want to read, this is like something I wrote some years ago. Just a quick poem, and that's what I've been doing in every one of these episodes, is reading. And it's crazy because I wrote this shit a while ago, and it usually, it totally jives with the subject. A wave drew up behind me and broke on my back. The surprise of it had me gasping and sputtering, despite knowing the nature of the shoreline. Surprise me again, my love. How? I don't know the heart. I wait, I turn back, and then back again, paralyzed, balanced at love and fear. So, I'm imploring everyone who shows up on these things to subscribe to my channel. I'm not selling anything. This is a gift, and you can't take credit for a gift, right? Right? What you do, right, in return is to make the a causal intent your part of your reality, right? Which is this: we can be the effect, and the effect that we require is to make this transition, right? As a collective, because we are not an individual without relationship. There's no individual without the relationship to the surroundings and everyone else, right? So you are an individual and the collective at once, right? And that actually goes for the entire fucking universe, right? You are this and everything. So the idea is that we create this connection, right, between all of us being the effect, all at once, and, right, that's shooting the moon. That's holding our sweet-ass fucking hand to our chest, and then taking all of the hearts at once, right, taking all of the tricks right at the end game, right? What they perceive as the final fucking steps to their grand plan. You know who I'm talking about when I say they, right? Right? This school, Earth, right, can be cleansed of this parasite that has infected it. And there's no fighting it. We only can starve it. And the only way to do that is to be the effect that I'm implying. I'm not afraid. I have to remind myself, love cannot be lost. Golden electric, remembering the future. Heart transmutation. A field of silver. Bang, Maxwell's hammer. Singular love strike. Expect to preempt. Cross the stream like a stone skip. Space-time wave function. Cross the stream like a stone skip. So yeah, subscribe to the channel. It's right there on my fucking bio. Just click subscribe. Right. I'm not asking for anything more than that, so that we can be the effect, right? The audacity of it is off the charts, right? Be audacious with me. I'm holding out my hand. Alright, I gotta go to fucking work. Catch you all later.